Welcome back to County Connection. For this next segment, we're going to be sharing some exciting news from our friends at the Summit Stage. And here to tell us all about it is Bruce Camping, who is a planner for the Summit Stage in our transit department. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you. How are you today?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well.
All right. So Bruce, this is a project I know you've been working hard on, as have a lot of other people at the stage. And so we're launching a new route in April, and tell us what's going on.
Well, the new route is a commuter trip to Fairplay, to Park County, both Fairplay and Alma. And it'll be modeled after an existing route that we have with the Leadville community in Lake County, where we're going to have 2 commuter trips coming in each day from Fairplay through Alma, through Blue River, terminating at Breck Station, and those will be aimed at commuters coming from Park County who work in Summit County. We'll have 2 return trips in the afternoon that take those same folks home. And we've had a fair amount of interest from those communities for service into Summit County. And also some of the requests have been for midday and evening service. But we're starting out in a fairly conservative way with 2 morning trips, 2 afternoon trips.
Excellent. Yeah. And so is this, we do have a Blue River route that we've been running for how long?
About 3 years now.
Okay. And so will this be an extension of that route or in addition to, or how does it work?
Exactly. The Blue River route will still have the equivalent of 5 round trips a day.
Okay.
From Breck to Blue River and then back to Breck. But the distribution of the trips has been shifted a little bit so that we can start 2 of the trips in Fairplay. As I said, pass through Alma, over Hoosier Pass, serve the Blue River community on its way into Breckenridge, which is pretty much the way people have been using the Blue River route, is to come into town in the morning, town being Breckenridge,
right,
and returning to Blue River in the afternoon. So some of the service that we've had historically on the Blue River route will shift from the morning times to the afternoon to give people more options for getting home at night. And it will also include those 2 trips that go through Blue River and continue on to Park County. So it is an overlay of the new route on an existing route. So when this is up and running in April and people start using it, they'll have to be a little bit careful reading the timetables to make sure they catch the trip that goes all the way through to Park County if that's their final destination.
Right, they're not just hanging out in Blue River for a few hours.
Right.
Okay. And so when do we launch this route?
Our summer bus season begins April 21st, which is a Sunday.
Okay.
And that's when this route will be inaugurated. And we'll have some changes in our Lake County route at the same time, but this particular segment is focused on the Park County, so we're launching them both together, the improvements in the Lake County as well as the new Park County route. And pretty much when the ski resorts are winding down and people are thinking about their summer jobs and stuff like that, we'll be launching this new service.
That's fantastic, because we know that a pretty significant portion of the Summit County workforce actually lives outside of our county borders in Park County, Lake County, some in Clear Creek County and Grand County. So, so it's really awesome for us to be able to provide people an alternative to getting behind the wheel and coming over these passes.
It helps with the traffic on Highway 9. It helps with parking situation in the town of Breckenridge. It helps with people that don't care to drive the twisty mountain roads, especially when the weather's not so good. So it'll be a win-win for everybody, I think.
Yeah, great. So where exactly are the stops that extend, that are new beyond what has existed with the Blue River route?
Okay, if we think about it from early morning till later in the day, that would be a logical way to approach it. 2 morning trips will start in Fairplay. The buses will be garaged in Fairplay, so the route's actually starting over there. The first stop will be at 4th and Main in Fairplay, which is near the Brick Historical Building, where there's some parallel parking on the streets nearby, so people, if they're coming in from an outlying neighborhood, can park around that 4th and 5th Avenue block
Great.
Catch the bus at 4th and Main, ride it up to Alma, where we'll stop right in the heart of downtown Alma at Buckskin and Main. And then we'll continue over Hoosier Pass, and the first stop in the Blue River vicinity is at Quandary Road, which is currently the end point of our existing Blue River trip that we're operating this winter.
Excellent.
So then it'll follow Highway 9 in through that corridor. We'll stop at the traditional stops that we've had on the Blue River route, and a couple of stops in Breck before it gets to the station. So if people happen to be working on the south side of the town, they don't have to ride all the way into the bus station. They can jump off in the vicinity of the Sinclair station or FLOP.
Okay, perfect. So you don't have to go in and then come back out.
Right.
Perfect.
Right. Then when we get to the afternoons, we run a sort of a reverse trip where we originate at Breck Station, we pass through Blue River, and then we go over Hoosier Pass and do the same 2 stops, opposite side of the street in Alma and then Fairplay, and then the bus gets parked for the night and ready for the next morning.
All right, excellent. And so what time does that first bus depart in the morning in Fairplay?
First one in Fairplay is 6:45 a.m., which should normally arrive in plenty of time for 7:30 a.m. connections at Breck Station if somebody needs to transfer, say, to a free ride bus to go up to Peak 8 or something like that. Mm-hmm. The second bus is at 7:45 departing Fairplay, and it'll be getting in time for 8:30 connections. And we've done a fair amount of surveying with the help of our partners in Fairplay, Alma, and Park County. They've distributed some surveys, and we've compiled about 200 sets of survey results. And most of those results suggested these times. There are certainly some people that like to travel earlier in the morning, and some people like midday and evening hours. But right now, with the initiation of this route, we're going to stick with the typical commuter times that get people into the connecting buses at Breckenridge Station.
Okay, excellent. And so, so really for kind of your standard workday, the schedule is designed to accommodate that for the most part.
Right, and if we look back on initiating that Lake County route or the initial Blue River route from a few years back, we started with 2 commuter trips in the morning and 2 return trips at night. Once we got ridership and people were accepting of the service and the ridership was growing, then that was a signal to stage management that we're ready for midday service, evening service, that kind of thing.
Okay, great. And so this is a fare service, correct?
Well, it's interesting because unlike our Lake County service, which is all fare service, this is partly fare service and partly not fare service. So for people who might be using it to travel between stops in Blue River and Breck Station, it's within Summit County and it's a free service. It's for that portion of the routes that goes outside of Summit County that we would be charging a fare.
Okay.
So if you're boarding in Park County in the morning, you'd be paying a fare as you get on the bus, and you'll ride across Hoosier Pass, and then you'll notice that people are getting on for free in Blue River and riding into Breck Station. And then the return trips in the afternoon, they'll be a little trickier because our policy will be that we want you to pay when you board the bus. So if you get on at Breck Station, you should talk to the driver and tell him you're planning to go to Park County and pay the fare at the time you get on the bus. You might also get on the bus at the Sinclair station. There's going to be a stop there as well. And if you do plan to go to Park County, pay your fare then. But you will notice that some people will be getting on the bus that don't pay a fare. And those are the people that'll be getting off in the town of Blue River.
Okay. And then what is the fare?
The fare is going to be $2 for the majority of people. But if you're a senior citizen, a disabled person, or a student, you'll be able to ride for a $1 fare. So it's a screaming deal.
That is a screaming deal. And so how do people go about paying the fare?
It's going to be cash, and it's going to be exact change.
Okay.
At the inception of the route, we are looking at possibilities of electronic payment, and also we're considering the possibility of tokens for convenience. Having exact change is sometimes difficult for people. you have good intentions of keeping those $2 in your wallet, but then you end up using the vending machine or something, and
Right.
all of a sudden realize that all you've got is a $20 bill.
Right. You
So-
have to pay your March Madness pool entry.
So hopefully we will come up with more convenient payment systems. That's part of the work we're doing with the Lake County system, is to try to streamline the forms of payment, make it easier for people, and give them the convenience. For example, if we were going on the exact change cash only basis, you pretty much have to have $2 for every ride, unless you happen to have a $2 bill, but I haven't seen one of those in a few years.
I haven't either.
But that might be a good thing to do, is go to the
Right.
bank
Yeah.
and get out a bunch of $2 bills and
Right.
keep them in your wallet,
Do-
and then you'll have exact fare
Yeah.
every time.
Right. I think that sounds like a good plan. So let's see. Is there anything else that we want to add about about this new
Well,
route?
I think we want to acknowledge the partners in
Oh,
the
absolutely.
exercise.
Yeah.
So we have Park County, Summit County, Town of Fairplay, Town of Alma, Town of Breckenridge. Town of Breckenridge is actually a big supporter financially and, morale-wise, to get this going, because it has benefits for everybody involved, the employers, the parking, the congestion on the streets, and so forth. And the Town of Blue River, because they're allowing us to modify their route to achieve this extension out of the county. And there are a number of private partners that have been participating a little bit. Perhaps in the future, once this kind of takes off, some employers may choose to work with the stage to perhaps provide a pass for their employees at a discounted rate or something like
Right.
that.
And we've seen that.
We've seen
model
that
in the
occurring
lake.
over at Copper Mountain on the Lake County route. And so potentially that could be true also for the Park County route.
Excellent. Well, I think this is incredibly exciting. I think that for a lot of folks, it'll be such a huge benefit to have this option instead of, getting behind the wheel, especially on some of these snowy days like we've been having this winter.
We're calling this a summer introduction because it's our summer season, but we have a very peculiar summer season at the stage. It starts in the end of April and it ends at the end of November. And in late April and May and in October and November, we have plenty of snowstorms.
Right.
So to think that it's a summer schedule is kind of peculiar.
Right.
But there will be plenty of times people will be happy to have the bus in April when there's that heavy, wet snowstorm and the pass is in kind of marginal condition. Our buses are very well equipped to handle those conditions.
Excellent. And then I have to, because you put me on the edge of my seat, what is this exciting news about the Lake County route?
Just that we're trying to, we have done some time shifts for some of the trips. We're trying to get back to the original times that we operated on when we introduced the route. We have had some complaints on the Lake County route that the early morning trip is too early, the later trip is too late, so we're trying to bring them closer in time so that people can arrive at their workplace about time to punch in rather than 45 minutes or an hour ahead of punching in. So we're trying to make that more convenient. We're also looking at ways of simplifying payment options.
Excellent.
And that just speeds the whole process. If you can picture 40 people trying to get on a bus and pay their fare, the faster we make every transaction, the quicker that bus gets going and the sooner you'll get to work.
Absolutely. All right, great. Well, Bruce, thanks so much for coming in today, and thanks for all of your
Happy to
hard
do
work
it.
to help make this happen. It's, it maybe doesn't sound so complicated to send a bus somewhere, but behind the scenes, a lot of work went into this.
It did. It did.
Yeah, so thank you.
Ride the bus.
Ride the bus. Yeah, summitstage.com.
That's right. Very good.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about short-term rental regulations.